At DSW, we ask the important questions, like, what shoes are you going to wear? Whether you're prepping for wedding season, festival season, or just planning the ultimate vacay, the right shoes can make or break an RSVP. So own the moment. You've got big plans, and we've got just the shoes. At the perfect price, of course. Get ready to get ready with Designer Shoe Warehouse. Head to your DSW store or dsw.com today and let us surprise you.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I'm your host, Joanne Crone. And if you feel overwhelmed right now as a mom, you have probably had this question go through your mind. Why is my brain still running when everyone else is finally asleep? You're doing the parenting, you're doing the logistics, you're doing the emotional support, and somehow you're also doing the mental marathon after bedtime. You can't sleep. It's impossible when this list of things and overthinking is telling you everything you missed. But what if it's not that you're overthinking or you're too much? What if it's that motherhood is just mentally loud? Because you're not only trying to parent a little human, but you're also carrying your own childhood experience at the same time. Because parenting has this way of pulling up old memories, old triggers, old rules you grew up with, even when you're trying to do things differently. So it makes sense that you're up late at night. You're not just raising a kid, you're also untangling all of these emotions that parenting brings up. So today in this episode, I have a little treat for you. We are going to talk about 3 things, but we're going to do it in a very funny and enjoyable way because, oh my guest today, I laughed so much during this interview. We're going to talk about why motherhood feels so hard when you're technically, quote unquote, doing fine, why moms overthink everything and what it's really trying to do for you, and how to laugh at the chaos without dismissing what you're carrying. And to help us do that today, this is the second time she's been on the No Guilt Mom podcast. It's the wonderful Gwenna Laithland. Gwenna is the author of Thinky Thoughts, All Grown Up and Still Just as Confused, and 2 other books. She's also the creator of Mama Cusses and the owner of Pleasant Peasant Media. Gwenna describes herself as an unexpert parenting trenches survivor turned communicator, which honestly might be the most accurate parenting credential I've ever heard. She's raising 3 kids, an 18-year-old and 7-year-old twins, and is officially stepping into full-time author life with this newest book. Thinky Thoughts is her latest endeavor, and you're going to love this episode with Gwenna because she shares the story behind why egg salad is a trigger for her. It is not to be missed and is really going to make an impact in your own life. And if you've ever felt personally attacked by your overthinking, Gwenna shares the moment it actually helped her break a parenting pattern she never wanted to repeat. And now, let's get on with the show. I want to dig in with you because I was reading the intro of your Thinky Thoughts and I have so many great things that you pull out that just tickled me so. First of all, your distinction with your editors. You just wanted to put together a book of thoughts and how they labeled it essays because thoughts aren't marketable.
It's really difficult to do something that falls outside the standard publishing parameters that have existed for always. Mm-hmm. This book isn't a parenting book. It's not a self-help book, but it's both. So where do we stick it? This book isn't an essay book, but it absolutely is. It's also a little bit of literary fiction. It's also a little bit of autobiography. I learned a lot about how I parent now by how I was parented, good or bad or otherwise. So it's not a parenting book, but it is a parenting book. It's not a self-help book, but it is a self-help book. It's not a book of essays. It's a book of random things that I spent way too much time overthinking. Where do we stick it on the dang shelf? Here's good.
That is a hard kind of marketing thing. I have that problem as well because when you have so many thoughts and so many ideas and so many opinions that don't actually fit the mold, but if you want to describe it to someone else, it has to fit a mold first so they understand it and then come back and do it.
Here, let's go on this ethereal journey.
Let's do it.
So I can describe my, but no, we're not. I overthink things and I am under-medicated.
But it's also so incredibly relatable. I was on your Instagram before we started this and you were doing the whole pick all the cars in the picture. and you couldn't decide if one picture had a car or not. I do that. Those things kill me.
I hate them.
They kill me, Gwenna.
They're unfair. And like the older I get, the more I'm like, I understand why boomers are the way they are. The behavior is not justified because we can figure this out with our big brains. But I get how they're mad at everything. Why is this hard? Is a bus a car? Is a scooter a motorcycle? Dang it.
Dang, I know. Or like the way things are said by like Gen Z, I get really mad. I don't know if this is a trigger for you, but if a song comes on the radio from my generation and my kids are on the car, you know where I'm going with this. And they're like, oh, this is a TikTok song. I'm like, how dare you, child?
It's not from TikTok. I'm glad that you learned it from TikTok. Thank you for keeping my music alive because I saw what happened to my parents' music. We hate it still. Okay. Thank you for keeping my music alive, but it's not from TikTok.
Yeah, it's not from TikTok. No.
That is from The Witness. Get it right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could see the anger of the previous generations as it's now appearing in us.
There were better ways to cope with it. And
Yes.
we've had more therapy than they've had. So, I feel like we're doing better.
That is true. That is true. So like in your book, Thinky Thoughts, you talk about being all grown up and still confused.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about like what you tackle in the book and how you like come to some conclusions.
So I think there is a lot of, I don't know why or how, and we all keep doing it, but there are people who will so confidently say, I know what I'm doing in my life. I know my path. I know my purpose. I know the steps I need to take. I know the challenges I'll overcome and where I can reach for aid. I am confident about how to be an adult. And I'm looking around I'm like, but where did you learn all that? Like, who told you to do that? What do you mean you just chose for yourself? I need a grown-up to tell me what to do. I still am secretly waiting for permission to cross the street, even though I am holding my two young children's hand and making sure that an F-350 is not barreling down upon us. That is my job. And I am still just a little bit, am I supposed to be doing this or do I need permission? I think the vast majority of adults are sort of winging it. We don't know what we're supposed to be doing. We're kind of hoping that what we're doing now is going to turn into something, ?
Yeah.
And I feel like the more of us that are able to admit, I am being a successful adult. I'm not super sure how, and I don't think I could replicate these results if given the opportunity to redo it, but I'm doing the best that I can. And that really is enough. I don't have to know what I'm doing to be doing good things.
I think that really ties in with a lot of our feelings about perfectionism as women too, is because we think like, oh my gosh, we have to be perfect at something. We should know what we're doing. And if we don't know what we're doing, we're failing. That
Barbie monologue lives rent-free in my head.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, it's true of how it is to be an adult. And I often wonder like if it's different for people who are neurotypical versus neurodiverse. So like, I live in a neurodiverse household. I have ADHD. My husband has autism.
Oh, we match. I am ADHD, married to an autistic man.
Oh, we could talk about a lot of dynamics. Little tangent here. Do you follow the Instagram handle ADHD Love?
I do not, but I need to.
Oh my gosh. It is a husband with autism and his wife with ADHD. I find it so relatable. Go look at it. Yes.
Instantly. Like the urge to grab my phone off my desk right now.
I know. Go do that. But so I talk about it this way because I was listening to a podcast last night in the car with my husband, and the person on was saying how many neurotypical people, at least in her view, got to kind of live out this childhood where they were free to experiment and explore and be themselves and didn't have to mask because they were accepted for who they are. And so when they get to adulting, they're ready to like sit down and be like, okay, I had my fun. I'm an adult now. Versus the neurodiverse kid, and I really identified with how she described this, who was constantly questioning their role, who didn't know how to really interact with people in an authentic way, but always like tried to copy the behavior around them to try to fit in, that they get to adulthood and they're like, heck no, I'm not doing any of this, and like kind of like go off on a different path. Do you see any of yourself in that?
Oh, absolutely. I wrote several essays. Valentine Graham. Valentine Graham is about me confessing to my high school crush that he was my crush. I did it in a very awkward way. I did it in a very, not an inappropriate way, but a way that was always going to backfire on me. Like I chose like this public declaration of love, and it didn't go well. It went exactly as one would expect when the girl professing all the love is undiagnosed ADHD, having grown up in a time when girls didn't get ADHD. I was an introvert that didn't have the language for that. I was so terrified of being labeled the geeky kid, the dorky kid, that I refused to be friends with who I now know would have been my lifelong best friends. I would still be talking to these children because they were the same as me. We liked the same things. Do you know what they all were? On Ritalin.
Really?
Every single one of them. All the kids that I thought like, oh, I can't be seen with them. They play Pokemon. They play Magic the Gathering. They're nerdy. I was super nerdy. I knew all of those things. I just kept it to myself because I had to be accepted, because I was a neurodivergent kid who knew nothing but masks. I didn't know how to be myself because myself felt unsafe.
Right.
So when I tried to copy the behaviors, it went like Valentine Grams. It went like bean theory, which is a theory that I write about in one of the essays, having to do with how we socialize as introverts, extroverts, and the middle ground of ambiverts. All of that is tied into, we're supposed to spend our childhood figuring out our identities. And you are correct. A small percentage of us, probably a larger percent of us than I wish were true, we didn't do that. We spent just trying to act like a normal child. Is this how normal children act? Look how normal I am acting.
And I mean, your facial expression right there, Gwenna, just like the big, like overt smile and like everything. I mean, that I think is how a lot of us did feel as kids. And when somebody acts that way, and I could tell this because I definitely did act that way, other people can see like, hey, there's something disingenuous about it.
Yeah.
And they may assume that, oh, that kid is weird versus this kid is just trying to fit in. Moving into spring always makes me want to declutter, like not just the closets, but everything. And that includes my finances. Because honestly, I was shocked when I opened Monarch and saw how much of our income was quietly disappearing into subscriptions I had completely forgotten about. Apps I signed up for because they sounded amazing at 11 p.m. You know how it is. And then never opened again. Let Monarch do your financial spring cleaning for you. One dashboard that gets your entire financial life organized. No more clutter, no more mess, no more scattered logins, just accounts, investments, property, and more all in one place. Get your first year of Monarch for half off, just $50 with promo code NOGUILT. And here's what I really love, the weekly AI recap, because one week it flagged a spending spike on takeout and delivery. And look, I get it. It was a tired week, but seeing it laid out like that made me think, okay, I need some easy, low effort meal prep in my life so that a hard week doesn't also become an expensive week. That's the kind of thing Monarch catches before it quietly becomes a habit. Use code NOGUILT at monarch.com to get your first year half off at just $50. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code NOGUILT. First Day has completely changed my morning routine. These vitamins are so tasty and the texture is just perfect. I actually look forward to taking them. And here's what most parents don't know. 50% of kids suffer from hidden hunger, and it shows up as big emotions, trouble focusing, and those exhausting afternoon meltdowns. First Day was built to fix that. And choosing a vitamin you actually trust is terrifying, which is why I love how transparent they are. No artificial ingredients, no fake dyes, no added sugar, a blend of 21 organic superfoods and 9 key vitamins tested for 200 plus toxins, backed by the Clean Label Purity Award. 83% of parents say it improved their kids' overall behavior, and I've noticed calmer moods in my house too. What I love most is that First Day works for the whole family. Their age-specific vitamins cover kids, teens, and adults because your nutritional needs change as you grow. Clinically absorbable, family safe, actually effective. For a limited time only, our listeners are getting an insane deal. Use code NGM to get up to 57% off at firstday.com. That's up to 57% off and a free gift with code NGM at firstday.com. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them No Guilt Mom sent you. Is get the kids in swim lessons sitting on your mental to-do list right now? Maybe it's been there since last summer. No judgment. You're not behind and you are not the only one. Here's what I love about Goldfish Swim School. They get it. Their whole approach is built around meeting kids exactly where they are, not rushing them, not stressing them out, just building real water confidence and safety skills at their own pace. They use something called the science of swim play, which blends guided play with proven teaching techniques. So your kid is basically having fun and learning to be safe in the water. It's a win-win. And they've thought of everything too. Warm indoor pools, professionally trained lifeguards on deck at every single lesson, flexible scheduling, and easy makeups right through their app. Because life is busy and consistency shouldn't be a battle. Goldfish has lessons for kids as young as 4 months all the way through age 12. If you've been thinking about swim lessons or just wondering where to start, this is a great opportunity. Right now, Goldfish Swim School is offering a waived membership plus your child's first lesson free at participating locations. Just visit goldfishswimschool.com/free to find a location near you and enroll using promo code FREE. It's a simple way to get started and feel confident knowing you're giving your child skills that really matter.
I 100% look back at some of the judginess I felt toward other people. Now, I was definitely judged. I was an awkward kid. I was a weird kid. I was a loner kid. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to socialize. And there are a whole bunch of reasons, a whole bunch of which I discuss in Thinky Thoughts.
Yeah.
But I was going to say something really poignant and important, and then I overthought it.
Overthought it. Well, that's actually a good segue to like us overthinking as moms. I see women overthinking so much, whether they are neurodiverse or neurotypical. And it's almost like you said, with the Barbie thing of going rent free in your head, like that is kind of how we are taught to socialize.
Yeah.
And it's almost like we criticize ourselves then for the overthinking.
Mm-hmm. We can't win.
Yeah, we can't win. But do you see any place where overthinking might actually be a benefit to you?
Yes, absolutely. I overthought my parenting. And I am in the rare category that worked out for me. In my first book, Mama Cusses, I describe the big blow up. And that was the moment where I snapped to reality. My daughter did something very appropriate for a 7-year-old to have done. It triggered me, sent me flying off the cliff, hurtling off the cliff, catapulted with a large war machine off the cliff into just red. I was screaming. I was hollering. How could you let this happen? What is wrong with you? What were you thinking? And something cracked in the middle of my skull. And a part of me floated up, and I just watched this whole scene, and I watched my daughter shrink from me.
Oh,
she was making herself small to hide from my rage. And I was like, nope, that's not, I can't do that.
That does make me feel good.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that to my kid. I don't want to be the reason she needs therapy, which is why the title of my first book is Mama Cusses, a field guide to responsive parenting and trying not to be the reason your kids need therapy. That's why I started, is because I would not be the reason, not the primary reason. Will my daughter discuss me in therapy? Yeah.
Yeah. Is therapy a really great thing that I think everybody should do? Yes. I hope my kids, I'm like, kids, I think you should go to therapy. Go talk about me. Go.
I had to overthink that because it's my default. I have to have too much information. So I responded to that. I don't want to be that mom by diving into resource after resource. And I was building this repertoire of information and things to try and why I am the way that I am and why she is the way that she is. So all of what I described in my first book that was primed by everything that's in Thinky Thoughts was a direct result of deeply overthinking it, because it wasn't just, I need to change myself. It was, I need to understand why my kid's brain is this way. We say they get object permanence pretty young, but it's not good at it. So yes, they legitimately do not know what they did with their damn coat.
They don't. It's true.
But for me, I had to overthink it because I needed to prime my too fast, too full brain with all the information of, she's acting like this because it's an age-appropriate behavior. So how are you going to respond? Because you can't shame her for being 7. She's 7.
Yeah. You can't shame kids for being anything other than they are.
Now, you can correct them. You can set boundaries. You can guide them into a better choice next time. But you can't shame them because they sucked at it. It's your job to help them suck less.
Absolutely. It's interesting that overthinking benefited you in that way, because that's how I changed my parenting as well. I had one kid who listened and she went to timeouts.
It's always that damn second kid.
Yeah, it's the second child. I sent my son to timeout. He's like, no. And he runs out of it. And I had to find a different way to parent. And what I realized going through all of that was my daughter, even though she appeared to listen to what I said, she was internalizing a deep shame anytime she went to timeout and get in trouble. And that was something that I found during my research and during the overthinking, is that the nice kids, the quote unquote nice kids, it's all happening internally. While the other ones who you actually change your parenting for, sometimes it's all external. So it allows you that feedback to change.
When I started doing, I don't want to say the healing journey. It's so cliche.
It's so woo-woo.
I know. But when I started sort of addressing, because incumbent upon me was, if I'm going to fix my parenting, I a little bit have to figure out why I'm so easily triggered. I a little bit have to figure out why there's a war machine that can launch me off a cliff because my 7-year-old was 7. That's important. And in that, I had to tackle my daddy issues, which I tackle in there. Thinky Thoughts covers a lot of my daddy issues, but I had some issues with my mom too. We all did.
Yeah.
My mom made the choices she made, and not all of them, they weren't all the good choices. They weren't all the right choices. They weren't all the best choices. And I don't shame or fault her for that. She was doing the best she could. And she made her mistakes. I hope I'm making less mistakes. But when I kind of had to confront, I was like, yeah, Mom, you messed me up a little bit there. It's taken me some work to fix that. She goes, I didn't know that ever bothered you. I was like, because I was scared to show you that I was bothered. Because that typically resulted in me getting punished.
Absolutely.
And my mom was like, oh, that kind of sucked. And I was like, yeah, it did. But we've both done some healing now, Mom, so we can discuss this.
Yeah.
And I'm super lucky that my mom also went on the healing journey, air quotes.
No, that is an incredible thing when you are able to go back to your childhood basically with one of your parents, and your parents acknowledge that, okay, yeah, that sucked for you. And I'm so sorry it had that impact on you, and I'm going to do better. And thanks for letting me know, and to keep going, versus you don't know what you're talking about, which I think that some adult children are getting.
Yeah. Well, and again, and so much of it comes down to, I am a genetic overthinker. My mom's also an overthinker. So it helped a lot that I was like, yeah, I'm really able to overthink this. She was the product of both her environment and her time. And when I was being raised in the 80s and 90s, it was spare the rod, spoil the child, was all over the place. It was tough love, firm boundaries, let them know what authority feels like.
Right.
It was the prevailing thought when I was being raised in the 90s. And then, come the 2000s, we're like, hey, we have made a very angry or scared generation out of that type of parenting. Whoops. Let's not do it that way.
Right. You bring up something interesting with when we are parenting, we can't necessarily go back and use what we were raised with and how we were raised, because it is a different time and it's a different lens.
Mhm.
And the best concrete example I have of this different time and different lens thing is I used to watch America's Next Top Model religiously when I was like in the early 2000s. Did you
Same.
ever watch that show?
Same.
Did you?
And as we record this, they have only recently dropped that tell-all. I haven't watched it, so don't spoil it. I want to discuss it, but it is on my this weekend, baby. This weekend,
Yeah.
it's me and the binge.
Gwenna, I binged the 3 episodes yesterday.
I have been vibrating. My husband is like, if you were going to tell me another thing about America's Next Top Model and how bad you feel for having rapidly consumed it, knowing what you know now about body shaming, the industry and everything, and this tell-all is coming. If you tell me one more time, I will hand you papers. They may or may not say divorce.
It is, oh God, that's jumping real far there. Wow. pretty big reaction to America's Next Top Model. Oh, well, I will share one of my thoughts and not anything really to do with the documentary. Like this won't ruin the documentary at all for you, which is just really delicious and wonderful.
I mean, we kind of already know what happens. We know how it went, right? And like,
yeah,
you can't spoil the ending.
I just got back from Japan and packing is always my nemesis. I always end up with like 4 bags just for my toiletries. But this trip was different. I brought my Quince travel case and the leather felt incredible. It had these built-in straps, like little slots perfectly sized for my makeup brushes, so I didn't have to just stuff them in. And all of my toiletries fit. All of it in one gorgeous case. I didn't have to pack 3 separate bags. I didn't have to dig around for anything. I was organized and it was beautiful, which apparently is something I didn't know I needed until I had it. That's the thing about Quince. They make pieces that are premium quality without the ridiculous markup. We're talking 100% European linen, organic cotton, soft denim, leather bags made from 100% hand-woven Italian leather, and styles starting around $50. They work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen. So the price you see, that's for the quality, not the brand name. Their spring pieces are lightweight, breathable, and the kind of things you just throw on and look like you have it all together, even if you absolutely do not. I'm speaking from experience. Refresh your spring wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/NGM for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to quince.com/NGM for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/NGM. You know what I wish existed when my kids were little? Great Wolf Lodge. An indoor water park inside your hotel where it's always 84 degrees, especially living in Phoenix where the sidewalks burn your toes. That would have been amazing. At Great Wolf Lodge, the whole family gets to splash around in a massive indoor water park with a wave pool, a lazy river, and water slides that you can all ride together. But here's what's really cool about it. They also have Magi Quest, which is a live action adventure game kids play throughout the entire lodge. It's like the magic never stops and your kids are always occupied. Between the Northern Lights Arcade, the great dining options, and the complimentary dance parties nightly, there's genuinely something for everyone all under one roof. No packing up and driving somewhere every hour. No, I'm bored. Just connection, fun, and honestly, a little magic for you too. With 22 lodges across the country, there's probably one close to you. Check it out at greatwolf.com and bring your pack together.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't clone you, but it can streamline your hiring workflow. From posting jobs to shortlisting candidates to interviewing, LinkedIn Hiring Pro is the hiring partner you need, so you can focus on connecting with the right talent. In fact, small businesses report saving over 6 hours per week. So hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
I remember watching America's Next Top Model and looking at the girls and thinking that that was a realistic body image that I should be able to attain. And now I was looking at all the old footage of the documentary and I'm like, what the hell? Like, it is way too thin, way too skinny. Like nowadays we'd be like, okay, this is not healthy. This is not something ideal that we should go to. Yeah. And the fact that they were calling like girls chubby who are a size 6 is ridiculous. ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I recently had an article go up in Newsweek because I lied to my kids
Oh, how did you lie to your kids?
about my body. I've
Really?
always been a bigger woman. I was big for my age, so I grew first, and everybody took a long time to catch up. And then hormones, stress, daddy issues, and just a genetic predisposition to it, I got fat and kept getting fatter. So by the time I had kids, I realized that all of that pro-Anna bullshit that I'd been spoon-fed by things like America's Next Top Model and Project Runway, which I was also obsessed with.
Yes, me too.
And all of the hip hugger jeans where I can see your pelvises aren't supposed to be pointy. Just FYI, if pelvises have gone pointy, we maybe need to discuss whether that is a safe space for your body to be in. Maybe it is.
Agreed.
Everyone's body type is different. But I can guarantee you at least 90% of those women with pointy hip bones in 99 were not at safe levels for their body.
No. And like the point is like during that time, everything seemed okay. It seemed okay. And I think that's like how we look at parenting too, where it comes into criticism right now that we give kids like too much like input or leeway. Well, we don't. We are still the authority. We're just guiding them differently. It's a different time and things are being seen in a different way, knowing now what we know.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's one of the things that I feel like we tend to get a little shamey about ourselves, especially when those changes move a little faster. I have 2 generations of kids kind of by accident. I have an 18-year-old who's graduating high school this year and will begin adult life trying to figure out gestures vaguely.
yes.
But then I also have twin 7-year-olds. They're a completely different generation. They're in first grade. I am planning to try to get first graders to sit politely and calmly through their older sister's high school never-ending graduation
Oh my
tablets.
gosh.
Without tablets.
That's a hard thing. You're like training now.
We're working on it now.
Working on it now.
Now, we'll bring the tablets as backup, but that's one whole parenting realm that has shifted so rapidly and really hasn't settled that we want to look back and go, well, what worked before turned out to be actually a bad idea. Right. But it was a good idea at the time. Like, it is okay that we learned new things. What's important is that once we learned new things, we stopped doing the bad thing.
Yes.
If you know better,
absolutely.
you can do better. We were too broke for my kid to get a screen, but a bunch of my daughter's friends, they're iPad babies. To the cliched definition, they're iPad babies. Up to and including some of the social struggles that have come with being on too much screen and being very, very tech exposed at a very, very young age. But here's the thing. Most of them doing great with it. They're coping.
Yeah.
They're learning. A little later, that's fine. They're getting it.
Right.
Because we learned better and we did better and we started giving them these sort of boundaries. We shifted our parenting ideology by overthinking crap.
Overthinking, yes. Yes, it comes all the way back around. Look at that. I think this is our skill, actually, with the way our minds work, is like it might seem like it's a tangent. It's really not. It'll connect back to the whole.
We're
Just
coming
watch.
back to it.
Just watch. Okay, like I think I've had as much anticipation as I can take. I really want to know now the egg salad and the cover war story.
There is one essay in this book called I Don't Know How I Feel About Egg Salad Sandwich. And it does, trigger warning, discuss some of my domestic abuse issues. My first husband was not a good husband and not a nice man. And that got better. He didn't. I just left. But he teased me mercilessly about an egg salad sandwich. And that sort of ingrained to this permanent, nefarious flavor of imposter syndrome where anytime I like something, I ask, am I allowed to like this? Am I allowed to have an opinion about this? Because what if my opinion is wrong? Someone will call me stupid or fat or ugly or worse if I'm wrong about how I feel about this thing. And that was a poison that took a long time to bleed out of myself. There are still absolutely elements of that. I don't think it ever goes away. a scar will always be visible, and sometimes they still hurt a little bit, even years after it's healed. And I got an egg salad sandwich trigger on my cover with the essay detailing where I have struggled with liking what I like and committing to being okay with liking what I like. The very original cover of Thinky Thoughts was yellow, which is my second least favorite color, which is weird because there's gold all over my office and that seems close to yellow. And my favorite
Gold is different.
my favorite flower is sunflowers. Very yellow. I just don't like yellow as much. It was yellow and it had one of those old school receipt spindles with a bunch of stabbed balloons over it.
Oh.
I thought it looked like rainbow condoms. I was like, I don't think that's the vibe we're going for. Maybe we could have a different... But I sat there in front of my computer staring at this objectively bad and not fitting at all for the book cover idea, going, am I allowed to dislike it? Are they going to get mad at me? Are they going to fire me and make me give all the advance back and never, ever let me publish again? Is my career over if I have an opinion about this book cover that really objectively sucks?
Yeah.
And then I
get
made
that.
egg salad sandwiches that night for dinner. Because the very first thing that I used to recover from this moment of I'm not allowed to have my own opinions because somebody will make fun of me or hate me for my opinions was egg salad sandwich. It was one of the first things my ex attacked me for liking. He said it's only old people like this. So old people and Gwenna like egg salad. And I don't care who else likes it.
Yeah, and like, not that this matters. I love egg salad sandwiches.
See,
so.
lots of people.
Yeah, but
So, like the lies that I can tell myself, it doesn't make them true just because I'm capable of dreaming them up. That's how lies work. I made myself an egg salad sandwich almost immediately after I left my ex. I went to my mom's house and I hard boiled some eggs because I like egg salad sandwich and I hadn't been allowed to eat one for 3 years.
oh my gosh.
So
Yeah.
sitting there staring at this, I have to be confrontational and put my foot down and say, this is bad. I don't want it. And it does not represent the book. And I think you know that. I made myself an egg salad sandwich and I sent that email. And then I was like, my favorite color is green and it's my book. Could I have a green cover? I was like, and maybe we can have that not everything is like bad, but also not everything is good. And that's how we got to these flowers, these daisies. And not all of them are perfectly happy. And one of them's a little different. And one of them is clearly really struggling. But they're all in it. They're all together. They're all doing their best.
I love the metaphor of the daisies in the vase. Like, having it explained, I'm like, yes, this is a brilliant book cover, Gwenna. Like, it's amazing. So when you sent that email, I'm sure there was like a lot of anxiety.
There was a huge
Was there
amount of anxiety. I
Yeah.
cried. Like, I'm sobbing over having to be confrontational because egg salad sandwich. What if this is another egg salad sandwich?
And what was the like comeback for it? Like, what did you
My
hear first?
editor legitimately emailed me. Oh, thank God. I thought it was dumb, but I had to show you.
They were thinking the same thing.
They were thinking the same thing, but they didn't want to presume. They didn't want to influence my judgment. They wanted to show the first attempt to me in its purest, unmitigated form so I could form my own opinion without having their input too heavily upon it. So when I was able to come back and say, I don't like this, everyone just, oh, whew, good. Because we couldn't say no without you, but thank you. We don't like it either.
That must have been like so affirming. Like, and it helped really knock that egg salad sandwich thing down a little bit. Did it?
No,
like,
I'll do it
did
again in
No,
about
it
2
didn't.
weeks.
Yeah.
Healing journey.
Healing journey. It goes up and down. It's not a steady line that it's like totally going down to being over. Well, Gwenna, I'm so excited for your book to come out. It comes out today, by the way.
Which is really...
It's today. It's today, Gwenna. Tell people where you can go get it.
Well, if the book is out today, it's available at pretty much every major retailer. Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Amazon, you pick your favorite. I would suggest visiting your local independent bookstore if you've got one available. If they do not have it, you can also visit bookshop.org. You can look me up there, and every purchase from bookshop.org not only supports me, the author, it supports independent publishers, it supports independent bookstores, and more money does not go to the guy with the space penis.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Could we? Yes. Well, thank you so much, Gwenna, for coming on. It is always a pleasure. It's so much fun talking with you.
Thank you.
And remember, the best mom is a happy mom. Take care of you. And I'll talk to you later. If you'd like to support the show further, you can share episodes with your loved ones, leave a positive review, or follow us on social media at No Guilt Mom. You can also show your love by visiting our amazing podcast sponsors. We have a link in the show notes.